don't know. I mean, I think the TL being 10-2, I'm just really off put by that. For some reason, I'm just like when I see TL, it's super uninspiring. It'd be like if Origin was just shitting on EU. That's how I view it. Where it's like you look at this team, it has so many obvious flaws, and then it's like a team where if you try to mentally compare it to other teams internationally, and you're like, all right, so let's say TL is like the first or second best team in our region. Let's look at another region like EU, for example. And then you're like, okay, who are the best two teams in that region right now? Probably have to put Mad Lions up there. What would Mad Lions versus TL look like? Like, how hard would TL get shit on? And it feels like you can almost never see a way where TL would be able to match up against top teams, because when you watch other top teams play, they have like all these set plays that they go to that like give them advantages. So on Mad Lions, they do a lot of like mid jungle, like 4-man plays where they'll get priority through mid together, that like they'll control vision towards the side, and then they'll 4-man dive a side lane. And you see these plays against TL and they will work literally every time. Like there's never a time where I feel like TL responds perfectly or like responds at all to what the other team's doing. They all kind of just like farm, and they're all individually talented players. Broxah is pretty inactive as a jungler, and then they just like get to a dragon fight and someone makes like an outplay. Like CoreJJ is playing insanely well right now. I think Jensen individually is playing really well as well. And they're just getting picks and they win a fight just off like hitting more skill shots than the enemy team. But I don't feel like they have any like recipe for success. Like I don't look at TL and I'm like, damn, I can tell this team practiced together. It just looks like a bunch of good players got thrown into like a solo queue game and they're just playing it out. It doesn't feel like they have like a synergy that makes you a team. Whereas like other teams that you watch, it's like, oh, I can see what makes them a team, like what they've worked on to elevate their game together and like be more than like the sum of their parts. Where I think TL is literally just the sum of their parts.
TL literally reminds me of T1 and LCK. I don't know how much you watch it, Dom. In the sense that, like what you're saying, the laners just sort of conduct themselves and the jungler doesn't do anything because the laners are all self-sufficient. And then they just cohesively beat other people because they're better at like mid and late game. So TL being as high as it is in the region, I think also Cloud9 like dropping games in recent in some of the recent matches, I think that's all obviously like horrifying, and I think it's also like a testament to like stuff that's going on with NA as a whole. And I know you got into this with Voyboy yesterday, right, about Broxah. Yep. And I mean I know that you wanted to do the tier list segment thing on this episode, and so I assume that we're both going to talk about it. I mean I think Broxah is one of the worst junglers in the region. It's not even close. And one of the things I was talking about on my co-stream about it is I'm so fucking sad ProView is gone, because it's one of the things that helps out these players.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he needs to be able to. I think the one thing is like, it seems like there's no like synergy between the jungler and the lanes in terms of like being able to predict the enemy plays, and that's what I talked about. Like, they're not even like a reactive team. Like, it's not like they're. Like, you can be, like, proactive, reactive, whatever. Obviously, like, everyone's going to be on the side of proactivity and making your own plays. But there are ways to, like, respond to things well. And I feel like they don't even do that. Like, there's times where it's like, okay, sure, you don't have, like, pressure lanes as a Graves. Like, what can you do knowing the situation is going to be that you're not going to be able to contest scuttle crabs, like, around the lanes that have pressure? It's like, you can take things, like, you can take, like, an earlier reset and you can go to top lane in advance knowing that it's like, oh, well, this team is going to take early dragon and we can't contest it. Like, we're the team that drafted like the Bard Ezreal into Karma Ashe. Like, we're not going to have pressure in the bot lane, whatever. Give up the bot side and like, let's get something on the top side. But it feels like they don't even trade. It feels like Broxah just farms and like doesn't like help the lanes at all. And then they just get to a team fight and then they're like, all right, CoreJJ, hit like a 3-man Bard ult and like a 2-man Bard stun. And we're just going to win the game off that, which, I mean, it's been working. Like, I think CoreJJ has actually been having an insanely good split. Like, individually, I think he's playing at a very high level. But I just don't see how this is going to work because at some point, if you just are this inactive, your laners are going to get dove so much. People are going to get so far behind that when you get to that team fight, it doesn't matter how many skill shots you hit. Like, number one, the better players are going to be able to dodge more skill shots than this. So it's not going to be like you're going to get these huge engages, these huge advantages every single time. But you're just not going to be strong enough to fight. Like, even if you get a pick or something like that, you're still going to just lose the 4v5 after you get the pick. Like, it's not going to be even close. And, like, I just want to see them have some form of communication where they're actually predicting, like, enemy jungle pathing and they're setting up for the play. It's like, hey, if we're going to get dove, I want to see them either back off the turret completely, try to get something on the other side of the map, have their jungler there in advance, like, have Bard roam to impact in advance instead of just letting them do whatever they want. Like, it just seems like there's no there's no reaction to enemy jungle pathing. And that's like really scary because most of the teams that end up playing at Worlds have really good jungle synergy. Like almost every team that wins Worlds is like their junglers popping off, right? If you think about last Worlds, right, you have Du and BTN, and how much did they work together? How often are they just roaming as a duo to the side lanes and making plays? That's just what's going to happen, and I don't see that ever working for TL. It seems like TL's mid jungle synergy is the same as last year, and that's why I was talking about it on my co-stream, and that's something that I tweeted about. Was I don't see the point of Broxah, because Xmithy was just Broxah but with more like prediction. I don't think they got the upside of Broxah. They didn't get
no upside.
Well, the upside was supposed to be better mechanics.
Yeah,
but
more proactivity.
No, but it's not. I mean, open his fucking pro view. What mechanics? He doesn't kite camps. He's on lock camera half the time. What fucking mechanics are we talking about?
I mean, he makes some nice Lee Sin kicks sometimes, LS. That's what it is.
Nicely Sin kicks, couple steals. Because to me, this reminds me of 100 Thieves from last season, where it was like, is this team really in second or third place when they have a very glaring issue in the mid lane in one of their roles? Because this feels like a repeat, right? It's TL now in tied for first place when there's a lot of scrutiny, duly, rightfully so, towards Broxah and his play and his lack of contribution to the 10-2 record. Because I think when you're looking at it a little bit further outside, you're looking, hey, this team's first place, 10-2. Broxah's part of it. He's had a couple of steals at the Dragon Pit, made a couple plays there.
Those? I hate that those are narratives. Like, it's like, oh, you stole the Dragon, like 50-50. Let's go. What? I don't care. Like, he doesn't know what to do when his lanes aren't dictating the game to him. Like, sure, anyone could play. I'm sure that he could have played the Olaf game that Closer played versus Dignitas at the end of last week. I'm sure you could play the game where you full clear, you have 3-lane prio, you just go and do the Dragon on cooldown, you do the Herald on cooldown. Eventually they fight for like third Dragon because they feel like they have to. You just win the fight, you win the game, like etc. Like I'm sure you could play like that. The problem is he can't find openings in an even game. Or in a game where he's a little bit behind, he's never going to do anything proactive. Like that's what makes you a great player in my mind, is being able to like recognize how, like, and it's one of the reasons why I've been so high on G2 for so long, is like no matter what the game state was, G2 found ways to get back into it through playing around their weak side. Like when they split the map and they knew that it's like, oh, we're gonna have to give up this Dragon, they were so good about identifying, okay, this Dragon is like theirs, it's spawning in 2 minutes, so they preemptively get vision and prepare for the map split, and they would like always trade back a turret, trade gold for the Dragon, or they'd trade like a kill for the Dragon, or they'd get a pick on the weak side like before the enemy team was able to like realize that they had completely set up the map split, etc. There was so many situations where they were able to like identify, hey, we're behind, this is how we're going to get back into it, and like play around those factors. And it seems like Broxah just is not able to like play whenever they're like not winning every single lane. Like it's really easy to see your openings, but there are still openings when you're losing as a jungler, because sure, you might lose the Dragon, you might have no like prio in your lanes, but if they have to go and kill the Dragon, you can take top side camps, you can take top scuttle. Like there's times where top scuttle is spawning and he's recalling while the enemy team's taking Dragon. It's like, dude, you have to like get some advantage, somehow you have to get something back for the enemy team taking an objective, and I never see that.